This is Note Taking Guide 8.6. Today we're gonna just have some fun with some logic puzzles. So you guys, logic puzzles are a little bit different in the fact that just because the first part is the first part doesn't mean you need to start there. So we're just going to kind of look at the things that we're given and we're going to decide if we know something from that and then go from there. So I look at this and I'm like, square plus triangle equals 20. I could guess a lot of things for that, but I don't know anything for sure. But then the next one, circle plus circle equals 12. Now that helps me because the circles have to be the same value. And if I know a circle plus a circle equals 12, then I know what the circle has to be. The next one, the circle plus the triangle equals 10, doesn't shout out at me like the other two circles did. So I'm just going to come up here and I'll be like, okay, if I know a circle plus a circle has to add to 12 and two circles are going to be the same number, I know they're going to be 6 because 6 plus 6 equals 12. Then I'm going to fill that information in on every circle that I have. So the circles equal 6. Okay, now that helps me down here because look, now I know that a circle is 6 and I can figure out what a triangle is. Because a circle plus a triangle equals 10. So 6 plus 4 equals 10. So every triangle is going to be 4, which means I can go fill those in, which helps me up at the top with the square plus the triangle. The square plus the triangle equals 20. So a square plus 4 equals 20. The square has to be 16. And I have just figured out the logic behind this puzzle. Okay, so again, just because they give you information first doesn't mean that it's going to be the most helpful. Read all of the information and then start with the part that's most helpful. This second problem is what we call a magic square. Every column, row, and diagonal has to add up to the same number. So in this case, the sum of all the numbers has to be 15. So if you look across this diagonal, 8 plus 5 plus 2, that adds up to be 15. I have to make it so that every direction adds up to be 15. So I like to start where I already have two numbers and I'm just looking for the third one. So 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 plus 4 gives me 15. So I'm going to start right there with that 4, and then I'm just going to keep moving around from there. Again, I already have 2 right here, so I'm just going to come and figure this one out. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. And then I'm going to figure out right here, 4 and 8 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. And then I can go this way. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. It will automatically work around correctly if you did it all right. So let's just kind of double check. 2 plus 7 plus 6 is 15. 8 plus 1 plus 6 is 15. 3 plus 5 plus 7 is 15. 4 plus 9 plus 2 is 15. 4 plus 3 plus 8 is 15. 9 plus 5 plus 1 is 15. And then the last one, 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 15. And then they gave us that diagonal one to start out with. So, of course, it equals to 15. So that's the way a magic square works. You're just making sure that every direction adds up to the number that they give you. The last kind of logic puzzle is a little bit more complicated because they don't straight up give you a lot of information about anything. So they always give you a chart down here to fill out though. So we're going to use that chart with the information they give us. Here's the steps to play. What we're going to do here is we're going to start by reading all the clues. Okay, we're going to read all those clues first because we wanted to decide which one tells us actual information that's going to be useful to us. And then we can cross it off of our chart or mark it on our chart. The second thing says find the most basic clues. Use the grid to mark them. Mark with an X if the box is eliminated or mark with a check if it's the correct answer. Use logic deduction to find propositions that are not explicit, meaning maybe they're telling you something, but they didn't come straight out and tell you. They tell you something that leads to something else. And then it says cross out the clue when you have used it. So let's read through the clues and let's see if there's any clues that tell us specifically something that we will know for sure. Number 1, neither Amanda nor Jack traveled in 2015. Well, that tells us something, but it didn't come out and tell us for sure something. Number 2, Mike did not travel to South America. That was helpful. Number 3, Rachel traveled in 2014. Number 4, Amanda visited London. Number 5, neither Mike nor Rachel traveled to Japan. And number 6, Amanda traveled in 2016. All right, I like this. I like number 4. I'm going to start with number 4. Amanda visited London. So I know that Amanda visited London. She's going to be a check mark. That means she didn't visit Rio de Janeiro. She didn't visit Sydney. And she did not visit Tokyo. So from that one piece of information that they gave me, I actually got to cross off 4 of the boxes on my chart. Okay, now let's pick a different one. And then when I'm done, I just like to cross through it so I know I use that clue. Okay, I'm going to use number 3 next. Number 3 says Rachel traveled in 2014. So I come to Rachel, I come to 2014. I know she's the one that traveled in 2014. So I know she didn't travel in 2013. She didn't travel in 2015, and she did not travel in 2016. Okay, so that makes it pretty nice. Now, if she traveled in 2014, that also means that Mike didn't travel in 2014, Jack didn't travel in 2014, and Amanda did not travel in 2014. So that helped me out a lot, which tells me or reminds me that on my first clue back here when we're talking about Amanda going to London, that also tells me Jack did not go to London, Mike did not go to London, and Rachel did not go to London. So even though I didn't realize that until a few minutes later, that's okay. Go back over and cross those out. So now you can see we've eliminated quite a few things, and we get to cross off that part that Rachel traveled in 2014. Okay. Let's go to number 5. It says neither Mike nor Rachel traveled to Japan. So Mike did not travel to Tokyo, Japan, and Rachel did not travel to Tokyo, Japan. So I get to cross both of those off, and I'm going to cross it off over here. Now that is pretty neat because look, it leaves me with just one person to check off for Tokyo, which means Jack went to Tokyo, which also then means that Jack did not go to Sydney and Jack did not go to Rio de Janeiro. So I got to cross off some extra stuff there from just knowing that. Okay. Let's go to number 6. Number 6 says a man traveled in 2016. So a man traveled in 2016. That means it wasn't Amanda, but it could have been Jack and it could have been Mike. So it really didn't tell me anything more than that, but I like to put circles around it saying, oh, that's a reminder that it has to be one of those 2 people who traveled there. So let's just come back to that one in just a minute. Let's go up to number 2. It says Mike did not travel to South America. This is going to help me. If Mike did not go to South America, which is where Rio de Janeiro is, then that automatically means that Mike went to Sydney. If Mike went to Sydney, then Rachel did not go to Sydney, which means Rachel had to go to Rio de Janeiro. So that was helpful, okay? Then the next one says, neither Amanda nor Jack traveled in 2015. So in 2015, it wasn't Amanda and it wasn't Jack, which means the only person left there is that it had to be Mike, which means Mike didn't travel in 2016. So that one's crossed off. And that means that Jack had to travel in 2016, which means he couldn't have traveled in 2014. And then because Mike traveled in 2015, he could not have traveled in 2013, which means Amanda traveled in 2013. So that was like eliminating a whole bunch of stuff. So what we figured out here was Amanda traveled in 2013. She went to London. Jack traveled in 2016 and he went to Tokyo. Mike traveled in 2015 and he went to Sydney. And Rachel traveled in 2014 and she went to Rio. And I just figured that part out from where my check marks were at on my graph. So logic puzzles, you guys, using information that they give you in order, out of order, to figure out the end result. Have fun with your homework today, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.